know how to clean. They think because it's a box that has screws in there, you're never supposed to open. No, some things will need to be opened because they're
Yet.
yeah.
So you have to take care of the house. You have to maintain it on timely manner. So when the time comes to sell, they are confident about the house, and they can also present the home inspection report to the new buyer. Hello and welcome to our episode 2 of Elevate. This is Maneet from Coral Banker here in Winnipeg. Today we have a special guest. His name is Bruno, home inspector. As we promised, we'll be bringing different professionals in our podcast, which will help you and guide you in home buying process and whatsoever. So we have why not home inspector, because in new houses it's okay, but when you're buying a pre-owned houses, you want to know what's happening. Not just the house looking beautiful, but what's the background, bones, and all those things. So Bruno, thank you so much and welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This should be exciting.
Thanks for the coffee.
Oh, no problem.
It's beautiful weather today.
I saw geese yesterday and today already. I took a photo. I was like, summer's coming. They finally showed up. They're like almost 3 weeks earlier than they were last year. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you're measuring, when was it last year?
absolutely.
A friend of mine just sent a video of his backyard.
Oh yeah.
He lives here in West St. Paul, and there's a river there. It looks so beautiful because there's some ice there, and the
Mm-hmm.
rest is gone. Snow, the sun is coming out. It's beautiful,
Yeah, it hits
beautiful
just
scene.
right. Yeah.
I know, I'm jealous. So Bruno, you are a home inspector. We've been working together for a long time. I know a little bit about yourself, but to our viewers, tell us about yourself.
Sounds good. So I am an immigrant, like most of us here. I moved from Brazil here in 2010.
Oh,
I actually came in and I was working as a welder initially. And it's a little bit funny because I actually came here with zero English.
really?
I couldn't speak a word.
Wow.
And I went for my interview. They're like, well, the day you learn some English, you come back. So then it was funny because then that triggers me. Like, for some reason, whenever someone challenges me to do something, I just go there and do it. But at that point, I didn't have the time I wanted the job. So that was November of 2010. I I understood the interview. So I went there and I actually put the interview on Google Translator. I put my answers in Portuguese,
Okay.
and then he gave me what it sounded in English. I memorized the answers for the interview, and in December, just after Christmas, I went back to the office at 8. I learned English, and I won my interview. So on January 6th, I think is when their office opened again. I went there, did the interview, and I got the job.
That's good.
So I was there for 2 years as a welder, and then I quickly became a lead and supervisor. That got me into a special project that they had where we did structural welding.
Mhm.
So those huge beams for skyscrapers that they are like 6 or 7 feet wide and 53 feet tall and like massive steel. So I was supervising the construction of those, and they got shipped all over the world. And I did that for the first year, and then that special project ended, and then I was into some specialty manufacturing where this was in a company that built oil tanks and
So
grain
big
bins.
manufacturers.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
manufacturers. It's with the FGI group. It's the biggest manufacturing group in Canada. They also sponsor the Canadian curling team. So I was working with that company for 5 years, and then I left there in 2015 and actually joined the petroleum industry in the construction and inspection of it.
Also in Winnipeg.
So that was all in Winkler, and I moved to Winnipeg at the end of 2015, and that's when then I joined the construction industry and the petroleum.
Okay.
So I used to build gas stations. I also used to inspect them. So I used to first work for a smaller company. They were like a wholesale fuel supplier,
Yeah.
and they also did leasing of gas stations. We would go there, build the entire gas station, give the owners the keys, and they would just run the operation. We would supply the fuel, and then they were leasing the facilities from us. And that kind of got me experience with like heavy equipment operation, construction. We did roofing, we did walls, we did everything because we were a smaller company. We were not hiring from outside. We built from the ground up every single thing. So we dug the holes for the tanks. We built tanks above ground, like you name it, we did it all. Um, then fast forward to 2017, yeah, actually, I used to go, I took kinesiology in university in Brazil,
Okay.
but I never finished it because I had to drop out to move here
To move
with
here.
my family. So then I thought, okay, I want to go back to school. And I dropped everything out. I couldn't transfer my credits, so I had to start from zero.
Oh, credits
And
from Brazil.
yeah, from
Okay.
Brazil. So
Okay.
I couldn't transfer the credits from my university in Brazil to here. So then I was like, hey, let's start from zero. And I quickly realized it wasn't for me anymore. I
Okay.
couldn't stand it. I also couldn't work for someone else, but I had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So I went back to a bigger petroleum company doing mostly inspections. This was then 2018. um, and even when I was in university, I was still doing some stuff. I was actually working with Towers Property Management. I was a caretaker there. I was inspecting their buildings. There were several buildings that were close to the one that I was the caretaker. So I was inspecting those buildings and I was also doing all the repairs on those buildings. So I was always still working kind of more or less that stuff
Similar
and
thing.
similar things. Yeah. And then I joined a different company. Those were mostly inspections, but we still did some construction. And then COVID hit. I got laid off. I went back to my kinesiology roots and I was doing some personal training on the side. And then I joined another company in petroleum, and that was 100% just inspections.
Okay.
So we did inspections for Suncor Energy, which owns all the PetroCanadas. So every single PetroCanada in the city here has my touch at some point or another. And entire Manitoba, we did Northwest Ontario and some in Saskatchewan as well. So I was traveling a lot, and that kind of took me away from home quite a bit. And it's just me and my wife, and I was looking for something that kept me around home a little bit more. I always loved real estate. I almost became a realtor in 2020 during COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you took the license and everything or no?
So, no, I had a sit down with Elliot. At the time it was called Alliance, so Royal LePage Alliance
Okay.
before they just joined with Prime. And everything was set to go. I just had to go do it. And then with all the COVID craziness and not knowing what was going to happen, I just kind of panicked a little bit and didn't do it. And actually, that's when I went back to the petroleum and doing the inspections.
But good you didn't do it, otherwise you won't be sitting here.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be. We would be competitors. Yeah.
No, but
So
in our field as a realtor, our competitors are also our friends because we do
exactly.
work together.
Yeah, yeah,
We do
and you
work.
have to. I
Yes.
think it's like everyone in real estate will be working together at one point or
Absolutely.
another, and that's very important to recognize.
Hmm.
And it's not just a job; it's also a community that everyone helps each other
Yeah.
out. But going back to that, so that company, we did a lot of inspections for larger corporations,
Yeah.
and we also did weights and measures. So we did the proofing of all, a lot of pumps. We did proofing of all the trucks for co-op. We did propane. We did inspections for the B620 regulation in the CSA for all highway tankers. So we it was almost like a car safety, but it's the safety inspection of a highway tanker. So all these petroleum big trucks, they need to go through these inspections, and we would do that and then report to Transport Canada. So I did all of that and still keeping the love for real estate in mind. Um, I bought and sold a couple properties, bought another one that was gonna do some Airbnb, and I was like, one day I'm gonna become a home inspector, and that's gonna be like my side gig. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have some rentals, gonna do some Airbnb, and then home inspections will be my side thing. But I got tired of traveling, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna become a home inspector. The the decision was a little bit different.
Okay.
Where a friend of mine and I, we were going to a job site in Ontario. We had to do a survey of an Esso gas station, or Esso now used to be a Husky. And on the way there, he used to own a radon company so he did the analysis and he also did the mitigation. And I was like, hey, you reopen your radon company, I start home inspections, we join forces, and we do it all together. So on the way there, I pull over, he takes over the driving. I'm quickly just Googling home inspection courses. I'm taking like a bunch of signing up for a bunch of different ones. We did our inspection, had lunch in Kenora on the way back. And then as we were having lunch, someone calls me. It's like, oh, it's this so-and-so from the home inspection course, this and that. This is how things work. And are you sure you want to sign up? I was like, yeah, what do I need to do? They're like, all I need is a credit card number. I was like, here you go. And I gave the credit card number. From there, I started taking the course, but I never did anything. I finished the course and I still was working the same job and all that stuff. And then a buyer's choice is a franchise. And I had the chance of talking to a regional owner that lives in Alberta.
Okay.
Because they posted a job ad on Indeed, and I replied to it. And they're like, your experiences are exactly what we were looking for. Like, you've done your own marketing before, you've done so many different types of inspections, you report directly to government agencies. We want you to work with us. And they explained how the process was, and I was like, yeah, let's see where this goes. At the same time, I was actually being hired to work for CP Rail as a train conductor. So I had my interview, I had everything cleared. I was just waiting for my start date from CP Rail. And then I was like, do I keep a safe job or do I go on my own? And like, I don't know what I'm going to do, how much I'm going to make, what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Right. So I took the chance, decided to be a home inspector because I wanted to be my own boss and do my own things and make my own decisions and be able to evolve in a business. Now, so the way I did, I came in as a sub-franchisee of an existing franchise that was already here, and I was basically second inspector to join that franchise.
That was my next question. So Buyer Choice is a company and they franchise
Yeah,
the
so
name, correct?
exactly. So Buyer's Choice started in 2005 in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
It was a 20-year experienced realtor that he wasn't happy with his own inspectors and people that he used, and he decided to give up on
Real estate.
or realtor and become a home inspector.
Okay.
So then quickly in 2 or 3 years, it became the largest home inspection company in Canada. And in 2010, he actually made it even bigger. So it kind of spread into almost all provinces, except for Quebec. And then he actually moved down into the States and he started the same thing down in the States.
Okay.
So now we are a multinational franchise. We are in several countries, not just Canada and the States. Canada still has the largest amount of home inspectors. I think we are about 150 inspectors right now in Canada. 6 just in Winnipeg. Alberta has, I don't know, 30 inspectors.
So those 6 that's in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
are they under one franchise or
No,
they're
so
different?
there's 2 franchise territories.
Okay.
In Winnipeg, so we kind of just on the Assiniboine River, we trace the line on that. So we have the north side and we have the south side.
Okay.
I belong to the south side, and that's my marketing territory. So that's where I can market. That's where those are the realtors that I can approach. I can still inspect anywhere. And then for people on the north, if they want to work with us, they can reach out to us. They can invite us to be in their offices, and then it's a fair game.
Correct.
What we're not supposed to do is go on Royal Page in Henderson, knock at their door, say, "Hey, we're home inspectors. We want to partner up with you guys."
You can't do that.
I can't do that.
Ethically, it's not right.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But someone from that office can call you, hey, I heard good things about you. or
Mhm.
whatever, my client want to buy the house, why don't you do the inspection, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And we can partner up with offices as well.
Okay.
We are we have partnerships with a few different offices, as well as a national partnership with Royal LePage, both residential and commercial.
Hmm.
So we are like their preferred inspectors. They don't need to use us, but we sponsor their events. We pay fees to them just to be those partners. So it kind of helps each other, just like realtors. You guys are always networking between one another,
Yeah.
and we kind of do the same, but then with you guys as well. Um, so yeah, there's two territories, and there's a line there. It's mostly for advertising, marketing, approaching people, and realtors. But we can still work anywhere in
Anywhere.
Canada, basically. Yeah.
So, if someone wants to be a home inspector,
hmm
any advice you want to give, how to start, or you want to keep it confidential?
No, it's no secret. But real estate, let's say if you want to be a realtor, what
Okay.
do? You go there, take the course, take your exams,
Hmm.
and that's it, right? You can start selling real estate.
Yeah.
Does it teach you how to sell real estate?
No.
That's the problem. Home inspection courses are the exact same thing. They will give you some knowledge.
Hmm.
It's very broad. Most or all of the home inspection courses are based for the states. A lot of things don't
Okay.
really apply to Canada, especially Manitoba and or winter here. So it's one of those things that anyone is welcome to partake.
Hmm.
Carson Dunlop is the best course there is to do that. It's the most complete. It's the one that teaches you the most, but it will not teach you how to inspect. It
Okay.
will also not teach you personal skills like how
That's your
to
own
deal.
knowledge then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it doesn't teach you how to deal with clients. It doesn't teach you about our soil that's horrible in Manitoba. It doesn't teach you about all the variables between an early 1900 homes, even in 1800 homes,
Hmm.
to a built in 2004 and ready to go house, right? So that's the biggest issue with home inspection because unless you're already in a business or a trade that teaches you a lot, even if you are a red steel carpenter, you're not going to know everything. You don't know foundations, you don't know electrical, you don't know plumbing. Same thing for any other trades. Unless you've seen it all or you have someone to fall back to, it doesn't give you all the skills to be a home inspector. And
Correct.
that's the main issue. Anyone can be a home inspector, anyone can learn the trade, but you need support
You need
because
support.
if
You need your own techniques and your
yeah,
experience.
yeah. So you need experiences. Even if you don't have experience, you can
Gain
be
it.
that guy. You
Yeah.
can get it, but you need to go after it. You need
Yeah.
to go find the right people that can teach you, the right people that can mentor you. And that's how our team has grown so much. Rene is super experienced. He has done it all. He used to be a home flipper. He built restaurants. He had multiple businesses in the same industry until he became a home inspector. And he's been doing that for several years.
Okay.
Um, Me, same thing. I started as um, a builder slash inspector, just inspector, different sections, different areas, but it kind of all combines together. And then Rene was the guy that kind of reinforced my knowledge and mentored me into the rest of it. Um, but personal skills and people relationships and networking with people is where the business really is. It's a home inspection, but it's also a sales business,
Yeah. Correct.
right? You need to have the knowledge, but then you need to be able to go and sell. Same thing with you.
Deal with the clients.
You can be the best knowledgeable realtor, but if you're not making sales, are you really a realtor?
Yeah. There's no money.
Right? Yeah. I can be the best home inspector, but if I'm not inspecting, I'm not a home inspector, right?
So that was about you. Um, Home inspections. How important is it to do the inspection? Like, is it based on experience? Is it a must someone should do, or because in our field,
Yeah.
when you're talking to buyer, it's an optional, right?
hmm
We can't force them to do or not to do.
Yeah.
But as an inspector, what's your say on that?
So does every home need inspection? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know until you actually do it.
Exactly.
So that's the main issue. It's like insurance. You pay insurance to not use it, right? Even if it's not a requirement, if you pay cash for a house, you don't need insurance. You still want to get it because you're protecting your investment, right? Home inspection is the exact same thing.
Okay.
We are protecting their investment. And if, let's say, it's a perfect house, we don't find anything, that's fine. One day that's going to happen. And like our full inspections come with lifetime consultation. And that's kind of we understand that not every home will show deficiencies at the time of the inspection.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you elaborate to our viewers?
Yeah.
What do you mean by lifetime?
So let's say we do a house, you're buying a house,
Okay.
it's a brand new home. We are doing an inspection there.
So brand new home will need inspection too?
It doesn't necessarily need it,
Okay.
but I have found several issues with new homes, like missing insulation, wrong HRV,
Mm-hmm.
HRV that was not properly installed. I found ducts that were missing. I found ducts that were improperly installed, wrong material. So there's a lot of regulation that goes into a new home that sometimes it's not met by the builders. They either
But
rush or they hire the wrong trades.
but even though city is coming to inspect that because it's brand new, they can miss that too?
Yeah. And I used to be a builder several times. All they asked from me was a photo.
That's it.
That's it. Because imagine how many homes are being built right now.
Yeah.
How many inspectors does the city have? How many homes can they actually go?
Yeah.
Right? Even if you were to consider an apartment building,
Mm-hmm.
there, let's say it's an apartment building with 22 units. I just did an inspection for a bank. They're loaning $1.5 million for them to buy that place.
Mm-hmm.
All they wanted me to inspect was the outside of the building, foundation, in 2 units.
Okay.
It's an average.
Yeah.
So it's an average of how many units we see. If those two are good, it's a good investment,
Okay.
right? So when you are looking into a home inspection, you're trying to protect your investment, and you don't want to just make the assumption that it was inspected by the city. And even if it was, things could change.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a few inspections where it was one thing when they inspected it, and it completely changed around afterwards. Or the inspector didn't see it, like missing ducts on heating system, no insulation, and all those things. Like you just sometimes you provide a bill and you paid the bill. It means that someone did the job and it's all done, right? So there are many ways. I don't know. I don't personally know any city inspectors. I don't know how they go about it, but do know that when I used to build,
Mm-hmm.
several times we just sent photos and proof that the job was done, even if it wasn't really fully done.
But it's a good idea
It's a,
to, if you're spending $500,000 or whatever, right?
yeah,
It's a good idea to have inspector go in on your behalf and check all the bones
exactly.
and everything.
And that's why we recognize that sometimes not every home will show deficiencies,
Yeah.
and we want to provide extra value. So we provide this lifetime consultation where, as long as they own the home, if they run into issues or if they let's say decide to do some renovations, they're dealing with a difficult contractor and they don't know what's going on, they can take photos and send it over to us. We're going to advise them on what to do next and how to proceed or how to deal with those contractors, and we're not going to charge any extra for that.
Okay.
Right? So for new homes, let's say the builder didn't give you the chance to do the inspection, which happens a lot. A lot of builders don't like that. We can either do a consultation walk through the house when they take possession, or there's also your year-end list that you provide to the builder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So along with the year-end list, we do a new home warranty inspection, which we have set with the president of the New Home Warranty Association, and we've kind of heard what their issues are. We've heard what the issues are from the builders, and we try to go in and provide as much knowledge to the owners of the houses to say, hey, not everything is a claim, but here are the things that you can actually claim. So we do a consultation with them, we advise them on what actually they can make claims towards, so they're not flooding the new home warranty office with all those claims, or the builders. And then we go in and try to find what exactly is that they should be claiming at the end of that first year.
Okay.
And we also try to advise them that the claim needs to be put before your year end. If you make your list on your last day and then you submit the next day,
It won't work.
it won't work.
Yeah. You pass your deadline.
Yeah. And it has happened to several people.
Really.
I have a client that he's actually taking the builders to court because there were so many issues that were not resolved. And he provided a list. They didn't fix that list. And then he called me in to do the inspection, and we found more during the inspection. And it was a $700,000 house.
Wow.
Right? So it's understanding what really needs to be put in place when you buy a new home. Because a house is nothing more than a wall, like walls with insulation and a roof, right? You can live very simply in that house and not have issues, and you would never know until someone goes there and finds them out, right? So, and I'm not saying that every new home is not good. It's mostly the other way
But things
around.
can happen.
But
Yes,
things
things can
will happen,
yeah.
and people will make mistakes. And nothing is like, even a computer can make a mistake
Yeah.
when they're doing their thing, processing the a system. And we're people.
Yeah.
I've made a mistake yesterday. You probably make the mistake sometime. So, like, we're all prone for mistakes.
Yeah, of
And so
course.
is the builder, and things will happen.
Yeah. So the cost of inspection of the house and the 1 year walkthrough will be different, right? We don't have to disclose how much, but they're different costs. Okay.
Yeah, so a new home warranty, it's $500 flat. Doesn't matter the size of the house, doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
We're providing them a document that they can bring in front of the New Home Warranty Association or the builder himself. And so that's a flat fee, and we then consult on top of that. So if the builder comes back saying, hey, these are the things that we can do, and the client doesn't really know if that is the right process to do it, we're going to go back and consult with them.
Yeah.
And then we have different types of inspections as well. So we have consultations and we have inspections. So we have a 1 hour walkthrough consultation that does not have a report.
So that's for new homes or used homes?
Both.
Both. Okay.
So
that was my. You're running fast, huh? My question was. Next question was. Sometimes there are people who want to buy the house.
Yeah.
But funding wise, they're tight. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe because it's single person or maybe couple, but they don't have very good jobs, and each and every single dollar they spend wisely. So they don't want to spend money on the inspection because say it's $300-$400, $500,
Yeah.
right? So what are the alternatives? What are the other options that you can provide them?
So that would be the 1 hour walkthrough that
Okay.
we were talking about.
Okay.
So that one is a much cheaper inspection. We're in the house for 1 hour.
Okay.
And during that 1 hour, I'm not going to be taking notes and taking photos because that's the process that consumes a lot of time. I'm going to be inspecting on the go, and the client or yourself as a realtor would be taking all the notes.
Okay.
So then they know what to do next. They will know if they really want to proceed with that one home or what things need to actually be fixed in order to have a good house that they are moving into.
Yeah. So in your experience, maybe say you inspected a house and you saw not a major issue but minor things.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to give suggestions to the buyer? Hey, you should buy the house or don't buy the house, or
So
no?
I am not allowed to influence their a financial decision for the clients,
Okay.
but I can definitely give them options on how to fix those things.
Okay.
Pricing is usually a little bit difficult because if you hire one company, it would be one price. If you hire the next company, it would totally change.
Yes.
But we can give like a ballpark.
An average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do have a document where we have an average pricing that we can provide to your clients. It could be something that I can send to you guys as well. You can give to all of your clients as well. That gives you like a ballpark of a general average price for a lot of things in a home. So whether it's a repair or full replacement, um, and things that we see on a day-to-day basis when we're looking into older homes.
And with that, basically, buyers can maybe renegotiate
Yeah, yeah,
price if the seller is willing to,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it, the home inspection will give the client either peace of mind or negotiation power. And that's where we try to also advise the clients saying that, hey, not every house will be perfect. No house will be perfect.
Exactly.
But we can make it so it's a fitting house for your needs.
Mhm.
And then if there are things that need to be fixed, here's how we're going to go about it. Here's what you need to do right now. Here's what can wait. And over time, you can make that house perfect for your liking. Um, and and it's also a teaching process.
Yeah.
Like you're an immigrant, I am an immigrant. Our houses from our original countries are different
Different,
than
very
here.
different. Yeah.
And when I first moved here, I had no idea how to do some things.
I was shocked. What? House are made of wood?
Yeah, right. My
They are
home country,
concrete.
it's concrete and
Yeah.
brick,
Yeah.
right?
But you know,
Um,
these are more solid actually, the way they build.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so things change a lot, and we try to provide a little bit of education to the new owners. And even like I've had several inspections where they were like 50-year-old people that are Canadian born and raised,
Mhm.
and they go from an older house that they lived there for the last 25 years into a newer house, or they're downgrading or doing something, and then we go to a home inspection, they're like, oh, I never realized that. I didn't know that I had to do those things. And if you lived in an older home and now you all of a sudden are buying a brand new house,
Mhm.
there's so many more things that are in place in a new home that you need to be maintaining as a homeowner, that if you don't do it, you're going to ruin the house. I just had some clients 2 days ago calling me, or well, actually some realtors that they are representing the sellers, and the sellers bought a brand new house 6 years ago.
Mhm.
They've never done a lot of maintenance that should go with a new house. And then they had an inspection done, and then the realtors called me, was like, is this real? I was like, yeah, if your clients didn't do these things,
Of
it's very
course.
real.
Yeah.
And it's possible that that furnace now will have to be replaced because no maintenance was done to it, and it was leaking, it was having issues. The HRV was completely plugged because they didn't
They
know
didn't
that
do
they had
anything.
to clean, and they didn't know how to clean.
Hmm.
They think because it's a box that has screws in there, you're never supposed to open. No, some things will need to be opened because there are filters, there are places that need to be cleaned, and you just don't know if you're not instructed.
Yeah. No, I always tell my clients when they take over a brand new house is like a brand new little baby.
Mm-hmm.
It'll need more attention than a regular house
Yes.
because brand new, right? It hasn't experienced anything yet.
Yeah.
So you have to take care of the house. You have to maintain it on timely manner,
Absolutely.
especially HRVs and furnace and all those things. Grading outside.
Yeah. And an older home, as you are upgrading and making the older home more energy efficient,
Mhm.
you're also going to have to do more maintenance to it.
Same thing, yeah.
Because older homes, they are drafty, they're constantly exchanging air with the outside, they're not as humid on the inside. But when we put energy efficient windows, energy efficient doors, you put more insulation in the attic space, now you make the house so tight and sealed that you're trapping every single drop of humidity
Inside.
inside,
Yeah.
and that's going to affect the house. So people keep saying, oh yeah, my house has a seasonal shift. It's not your house, you're creating that.
That's why, okay.
Most issues in a home are owner inflicted.
Yeah.
Of course, if you left the house by itself for 10, 15 years, it's still going to self destruct just because it can't do its own maintenance.
Hmm.
But as an owner, if you don't do maintenance, you're inflicting issues to your house. If you are not, even if you're doing maintenance, but you're not living the way you should inside of the house, you're also causing issues there. So a house is not bad because it's badly built or because it's old. It's bad because it didn't have the right owners. So in a home inspection, we try to teach the clients that as well. And sometimes clients don't really react very well. Like our home inspections, we're not going to be forcing information down the throat of a client. We want them to be like, I like myself, I like to follow the client's energy.
Hmm.
So if it's more a laid back client or more quiet, I try to interact, I try to explain a little bit. But if I see that they're not absorbing that information, everything will be on the report. And that's where the report comes in handy, because all the information is in there. All the instructions on how to maintain a house will also be in there. So my inspection report has color coordination.
Okay.
So I have green, I have blue, and I have red. Anything that's green, it's a maintenance tip. So things that they should do seasonally or every quarter to maintain the house in good shape. Blue is the next level up, where it's something that they should do to remediate an issue, but it's not as pressing as maybe removing some knob and tube. And then red is like, this is a big issue, fix
Fix
it
it.
now.
Yeah.
Like either negotiate and with the sellers, or as soon as you move in, you should be looking into doing those things.
Yeah.
So it could be like a wiring issue, some plumbing issue, or even missing smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, things that are essential for maintaining a good condition in the house, as well as for safe living in there.
So I have seen when the owner becomes a seller,
Yeah.
they're scared of inspections. They don't want buyers to do the home inspection. Why
Hmm.
is that?
Because it's there's a lot of uncertainty there. You don't know who's going to inspect your house.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen inspectors where they always do 2 inspections per client.
Okay.
The first one, they always fail, even if it's a good home.
Just to make money?
I don't know what's the reason. And then the second one is a pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't actually do pass or fail. We try to instruct the clients on, hey, this is what's going on right now. If you want this house, this is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or this house is great, but decision is still yours.
But after listening to what you're saying, I think it's a good idea as an owner to every 5, 6 years inspect the house, know what's happening. So when the time comes to sell, they are confident about the house and they can also present the home inspection report to the new buyer. Hey, listen, we already did this. You
Yeah.
can do it too, but the house is in good shape.
Yeah. It's like owning a nice car
Uh-huh.
and having the service history that you can give with the
Exactly.
sale of the
With
car.
yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because we pay a nice car, let's say it's $100,000.
Hmm.
These days, it's a little bit more if you buy brand new. But you do everything very meticulously, lots of maintenance. You keep all the records, you wash it every week, you make it sure that it's always nice and clean and in good shape. You pay $500,000 for a house
You
and you
don't do
forget that
it.
you have to do those things.
Yeah.
Of course, you're not changing the oil, but you're changing the furnace filter. You're cleaning your HRV. You're cleaning your gutters. You're making sure that you're saving up for eventually replace the roof shingles.
Mhm.
Nobody does that. And that's the biggest issue.
Actually,
So
shingles is a very good and common thing. I only see people changing shingles.
once they're completely done and they're
Yeah,
having a roof
but they
leak.
don't realize there can be leakages that can start in the house and that can cause a major problem.
Yeah. So I think that when people are scared is because they were not doing the maintenance in the house, or they don't actually know what they have,
Hmm.
and they are afraid that someone is going to find something that they will then have to negotiate, or it could be a liability for them.
Okay. For the homeowners, what tips would you suggest them before inspection?
Before inspection. So make sure that you declutter the house
Hmm.
and it's always clean. It can be the worst house ever. Once you clean things, you already make it better.
Okay.
Once you declutter a house, you have better airflow. Better airflow prevents humidity. When you're preventing humidity, you're preventing house shifting, you're preventing mold, you're preventing your window seals to fail, because then you don't have condensation against the window. It doesn't
And
freeze. It
that's very
does
common in Winnipeg.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, just declutter the mechanical room. Make sure that we have access to the furnace. Clean the furnace. Have someone do a furnace cleaning once every 2 years at the very least when it's a newer furnace. If
Hmm.
it's older, once a year. It's $100 for a furnace cleaning that can save you $5,000 depending on the size of the house, right? It doesn't mean that just because your furnace is 20 years old that you have to replace, but you have to fix it, you have to maintain it, right? So the furnace has various parts that are wearable parts, just like you change the tire on your car because it wears out, so does your igniter. And then all of a sudden it's minus 30 Christmas Eve and your furnace stops working. It's 5 years old and you never done a thing to it. Your technician comes there, he's like, yeah, it's a $5 piece, but now it's a $500 emergency call because you didn't do a proper maintenance that you could have solved with $100 plus a $5 piece.
That happened to you. One audience.
So it happened to me as well.
Yeah.
Like it was my very first home, and I didn't know I had to do maintenance on the furnace. Changed the filter. That's it. One day my igniter failed, and it wasn't Christmas Eve, but it was a very harsh winter. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and there wasn't much I could do.
Wow.
So then I called the technician. It was $500 for him to go there, reset the furnace, and he actually didn't have to change a piece.
Nothing.
He just cleaned it.
Wow. So if you're doing yourself as a homeowner, you save that money too.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea, every 5 years or so you get the house inspected.
Yeah, and
So
it's
you know how it's
Mhm.
running, right?
Yeah, it's like a condominium. People don't like paying condo fees.
Yeah.
But condominiums have to have an inspector go through it every 5 years
Oh,
to
they
give
have.
the condition of the condominium. That's your reserve study fund, right? And then with that, they're going to provide you the condition of those surfaces at the moment. They're going to provide you with a price of how much it's going to cost. And then it's up to the condominium to have good management skills to, one, collect all those funds. So when it's time to do those replacements or fixes or repairs, um, have the money to do it and make sure that people living in that condominium are covered, right? So people say, oh, my condo fees are $500, or I don't want to buy a condo because it's $500. Yeah, it's $500, but think that when you are purchasing a home, you should also be saving those $500 because your roof is going to cost you $10,000. Your furnace eventually is going to cost you $5,000. Your AC will also cost $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the size of the house. Those are all expenses that most owners are not accounting for, and we are never saving money for that.
So might as well start putting few $100 on side for
Yeah.
maintenance part.
Even if you start with $20 a month, it adds up very quickly,
Yeah.
right? If you're able to do more, do more. But you don't want to eventually have a leak in your roof and not have the money to do
To
that.
fix it.
It's a scary thing. You have a family that depends on you, and you don't want to be failing to provide for a family, even when it comes to your home.
Last question.
Yes.
Technology is changing a lot.
Yeah.
How do you see that impacting your business as a home inspection?
So it helps us a lot.
Okay.
So even within the last year, we've brought in carbon monoxide detectors, we've brought in air quality assessment tools, we've brought in radon assessment tools. Even our phones, our reporting system changes a lot. Where we used to do home inspection with pen and paper and a little plastic camera, now it's all on the phone. We're able to do everything much more efficiently.
Yeah.
And we miss less steps because now we have a system where we just follow. We're not just walking around trying to get a grasp of everything that's going on at the same time. So technology helps a lot. And I think it's only going to improve with time as well.
Okay, awesome. So I hope you have learned a lot from Bruno,
Yeah,
the home
and
inspector. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't want to scare anyone. Buying a house is great. I think it's the life goal for everyone.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that when you make that investment, you want to maintain an investment and not a liability to you. If you buy a house and all of a sudden you're not caring for it, just became a liability, and it's a very expensive one. Uh, it, you might as well just keep renting because at least then you have a good house and you can complain to someone. When you own your
You're
house,
saying that because you have rental properties.
not anymore.
No?
No,
How come?
it was too much work for me.
Okay.
So I have my cottage now for sale, no Airbnb, and
Where's that cottage?
it's in close to Lac de Bonny. So it's Seven Sisters. So at the White Mouth, but it's right at the border with Lac de Bonny,
Okay.
right close to the Pinoa Bridge there.
Well,
So
good information.
for me, I want to focus on home inspections and providing the best value to my clients. So that's why I stepped away from that.
Okay.
And I think people just need to understand that owning a house is great. It's a great investment, and we're here to help all of them. Um, and they just need to understand that owning a home is almost like having a second child or a second job. It's something that you have to care for. If you don't, that child's going to rebel and you're going to get fired,
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
right?
Yeah. So thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no problem.
If you have more questions regarding inspections or pros and cons, we'll be sharing Bruno's number in our video. You can call them directly. You can email him directly.
Yeah. And you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. It's Inspector Bruno. You're gonna have to put my handle there. I don't remember what my handle is
What's your
there.
phone number?
It's 431-688-4948.
There you go. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And you, my family, will see you again for next podcast. We're bringing more values. So keep on watching and follow us. Thank you so much. And thank you, Bruno.
Yeah, thanks.